So we just watched the trailer to The Secret of Nim.
Yeah, neither of us have seen it. I haven't seen it in its entirety. You haven't seen it.
What was the last line of the trailer? It says...
something for all ages?
Remind you of your childhood or something?
For the child in all of us.
For the child in all of us. That was the line. This movie is about giant rats fighting each other.
With glowing... To our knowledge.
Yeah, or they look like... Okay, I guess they're just rats.
Yeah.
I've been informed.
That one had, like, glowing eyes and shit,
Yeah,
though.
he was magic.
What was going on there?
He probably knew the secret.
Yeah, I don't want to know it.
I don't know, yeah, so I guess we should sort of talk about, I guess, introduce ourselves.
Yeah, this might not be a good idea.
Yeah.
Now we're putting names out there.
Just first names, right?
Yeah.
So I'm Zander.
Yep. I'm Nick.
And we do
together
this.
we do this, and
together,
we don't have a collective name.
We have no powers.
We have CultureRaid, even though I didn't think of that. So
it sounds like a energy drink.
It sounds like we are determined to destroy other cultures. That sounds terrible.
It does.
Oh God, what have we done?
we should go back, restart Michael. I've made it. What was the?
I've made it terrible.
I've made it terrible. I've made it terrible.
Oh God. There's something else. We love Arrested Development. Oh my gosh, watch it if you get the chance.
If you haven't, otherwise quote with us the lines from this show.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Sorry.
Yeah. So this is meant to be an introduction of sorts in terms of who we are and how we met and all sorts of associated things like that. But I suppose it's worth to bring up how we actually met in the first place. Interestingly enough, we were briefly bringing this up yesterday, and apparently we have different stories of how this happened. So
yeah, I mean, I'd like to hear your
This
story.
This is weird. Last I checked, we were both in Quiz Bowl. I think I was in it. This must have been my junior year, I think. You're 2 grades.
You're
2 grades behind me.
So you were a junior.
Yeah,
I was a freshman.
And I was
in high school.
And you were a freshman. And we were in Quiz Bowl, and obviously because surprise Quiz Bowl. Yeah. Of all things, right? Exactly. I know you're probably very surprised.
I'm kidding. We were awesome.
Yeah, we were good.
We were all right.
We kicked ass
at knowledge.
At knowledge,
for sure.
Oh God. And yeah, long bus rides. Got to talking about video games, and that was pretty much that. That's what I remember. So
yeah, I mean, but I remember that. But I remember slightly before that too. Maybe it has something to do with just memory or how important things were. But I remember you delivered papers in the neighborhood, and I lived like 2-3 blocks from you.
About 2.
And so I was on your route, and I remember
at the end.
This was right right after I moved here, and it was God, you would come by, you would deliver the paper, and I remember God, you would come by and you deliver the paper, and then you would ask Isaac, who was my stepbrother, right, at the time. You would ask him, like, oh, what video games are you playing right now? And he played, God, he had a Super Nintendo, and he had, like, Donkey Kong Country, and Star Fox, and he had a bunch of other games, and he didn't really play those a whole lot.
Right.
And when I moved here, with my brother Ben, we sort of took that over, and we were, like, playing that, like, all the time. And, so, Isaac wasn't really into it, but you kept asking. I remember you just kept asking him, so you played any good games recently?
It was at the end of my route. I had time.
Exactly. But, it's just one of those things that happened. And eventually, I was out there when you were delivering the paper, and you're like, hey, do you play video games? I'm like, yeah. And, I mean, at the time I played, I think Diablo 2 was out, so I had played that. I played Nintendo 64 games. I had I think I owned literally 5 games, because you don't have a whole lot of money at that point. My mom was not very
affluent.
Well, we could say that, but she was not going to give me money to spend on these things. So any games that I bought with money that I earned or I was given by other people. That was when we first met, and then sort of got to talking about video games.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think at that point, God, because I remember I got into Quiz Bowl through a weird connection of
Didn't your mom
you knew
know
the
someone...
older Contreras brother? I can't remember his name.
Was that Rick or Rob? That was
Rick.
Rob.
No, Rick.
Are you certain?
Yeah, because Rob was in my grade,
okay.
right? And
All
so
right.
like they drafted us.
Yeah.
And just and I mean that's where we continued to meet and talk about video games and etc.
Yeah.
Right.
How it all started, I suppose. Interesting. Yeah, it's weird that I don't remember that, but weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the daily grind of delivering papers.
Delivering
I don't care
papers,
about any of these people.
Yeah.
I'll never see them again.
Yeah. Screw you. Actually, I was really awesome.
You were.
At that,
you were really awesome. Everyone liked you. And
Everyone
when I
liked
filled
me.
in for you for that 1 week.
I don't remember that either.
You don't. That's ridiculous. I did. I filled in for you for maybe it wasn't a week. Maybe it was 2 days or something because you were gone or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
No. Sounds about
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's 2 versions
yeah.
of how we met.
Not exactly contradictory versions, but two perspectives on me.
Complementary.
Yeah. Exactly.
Suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's how we began. I suppose it's worth bringing up how we actually began gaming to whatever extent we did. I started with an old Apple computer in my parents' in the basement. I'd get up early Saturday mornings and play these World War II sub simulator games. I mean, my dad had all these huge boxes from school, just these huge crates filled with floppy disks. Not all of them were well marked, not all of them were exactly correct, but I would just open it up and pull one out and just try all these different things. And some of them worked and some of them didn't, and I ended up playing Carmen Sandiego. I was terrible. I didn't understand what was going on. They're going to Reykjavik, and I would be like, what the hell? Is that real? Is this game real?
They made that up.
And then they'd be like, then finally I found we had Carmen Sandiego in the USA, and there were still places in that I had no idea what was going on. I was only 6 or 7. I had no idea.
But I feel like Americans don't know geography.
Yeah.
In general, compared to
right.
Just any other
place
in the world.
My age was an out for me, but yes, in general, I would say that even now my geography is probably better than the average American's. But
we don't even know American geography.
We don't know. I've been over this with people. Look, people are like, we don't understand why Americans don't know geography. Look, we cut our country up into 50 parts.
Exactly.
Okay, and not only that landmass is huge. Just cut us some slack. Maybe we'll learn your country.
There's only 50 though. I mean, you think about all these other countries with the different provinces, and within each province there's more things to know. And I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe we don't have it as tough as we think we do.
Perhaps not. I feel like 50 states isn't that. At least to acknowledge that there are 50 states, but because there's some people that don't even know how many states there are.
Oh God, I don't know if that's.
Those are the people,
that's sad, but I think you're probably right.
These are the people that don't know what a natural satellite is.
These are the people that know it as America.
America.
Yeah.
No, just America.
America?
There's no
Yeah.
It's just America.
Welcome to America. Want to go to Walmart?
Yeah. No, Walmart is America.
Yeah. Side note, Walmart, if you want to give us money, we are not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Trust me. We will take your money.
They will take all of your horses.
Yeah.
Whether they are gifts or not.
So, now that we've belittled America's geography, its probably largest corporate entity, and then said that we would still take money from that corporate entity, to sum up what has just gone on. After that, I had
just to go way back to the first thing that we were talking about.
Right.
Video games.
Video games.
Yeah.
The one thing we can't stay on topic with. I had a Game Boy. That was fine for a little bit. Then my dad was like, hey, I found out I can get you this thing so you can plug it in the wall and you don't need batteries. And I was like, holy shit! But not really. I was 9. And then my mom
Holy
was
cow.
like, yeah,
right? That would be
Jeepers,
God.
Dad.
Let's go back to
great.
the 50s. You don't need to go back that far.
Okay, just hang out inside here, Timmy. Your mom and I are gonna smoke, and then we're gonna
drink
and have bad parenting skills. But then my mom was like, unfortunately, she was not stupid, and she said, well, you're not getting that. If we have batteries, then we still hold the power. Ha ha ha!
The batteries hold the power.
That was my mom, and So I didn't get that. So I played for the Game Boy. I played, let's see, I had Link's Awakening on the Game Boy. That I played to death. Oh my gosh. Again, this was pre-internet.
If it was the only game you owned, right?
no,
How many games did you have?
I had like 12 when all was said and done.
Wow.
By
So
the end.
how much did new games for Game Boy cost
Oh
back then?
gosh, I don't.
Was
30?
it like 30? Because I never owned a handheld console.
Hmm.
I mean, the first one we had was like a secondhand Game Boy Pocket, right? I think, yeah, I'm getting nods here. But yeah, it was like, I mean, I don't think I ever bought a handheld game ever. I mean, yeah, I mean, just like I started, I didn't own a console until I think 98 or 99. Like
Yeah.
it was like, God, I was halfway through middle school, and God, I just remember my friends at the time, they were really cool, and they all pitched in and they got me a secondhand Nintendo 64, and we were super jazzed when we found out that there was one of those, I don't even remember what it was called, the red card, the red little chip that was inside.
Expansion pack?
Yeah.
Oh, score.
Yeah, because apparently they didn't check it or something.
Can I just say that anytime Nintendo 64 is brought up, I really just want to go, Nintendo 64! So maybe now that I've done it once and rather poorly,
Just
I
get out
won't
of your
do it
system,
again.
please.
But yeah, Nintendo 64 expansion pack, Rogue Squadron.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Those are cool. But I mean, I never owned a console up until that point. I mean, I played stuff like Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Oh god, I played Pod Racing, Star Wars Pod Racing.
I had that on PC.
Played that so much.
I had that on PC.
I can't count the number of nights I went over to friends' houses and we just like played Pod Racing up until like 1 in the morning. And
that is the only
this
contribution.
This is back when I was like
is.
8 to 10. This was
Yeah.
just like, I should not be doing that ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So I played. I had friends that had a Nintendo 64. I had friends with PlayStations, and I had I think one friend with a Dreamcast, 2 friends with Dreamcasts. So I got a chance to play a lot of different games, and I never was very good at any of them.
Well,
at the time.
yeah.
But I mean, my first video game that I really got into was weirdly enough Diablo, and I think I was 8 or 10, which is like clearly not the age.
You were taking on the Dark Lord what Satan himself.
The game is
at
rated
the age of,
M.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And it's called Diablo.
yeah, I mean, and I feel bad now because I play stuff like Call of Duty, and I get angry at those, the really young kids who just come on and trash talk everyone.
Yeah.
It's like, I was that kid.
Yeah.
I would
in a
get into
different
those.
age.
I would go into those lobbies and I would like steal people's items and then just like type the worst swear word I knew, which was like hell or crap, and I was like,
it wasn't even a sentence. It was just the word.
and then I would just log off with like all sorts of justice in my heart.
Oh my god. I have a story.
But I mean, it was just, I don't know. It was weird that I played that game. That was like the first game that I played, but that and like, God, I played like Tomb Raider and Rayman.
Yeah.
Just like it was a bunch of games that I didn't own, but like I went over to friends' houses and they owned those games, and so just played.
It's always weird when it's that way because you leave the friend's house and you're like, yeah, I've got this, and maybe you both started it together, but then you leave and like while you're gone for a couple days,
beat like
the
5
friend
levels.
the friend gets so good, he moves way further along in the game than you were. He's like, I'm on level 7 now and I can do this, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's like the one friend who owns like Guitar Hero or Rock Band and get really good at it
while you're not there. Yeah,
and
then they pretend like it's nothing.
They're playing on expert, and you're just like a child on easy mode. What am I doing?
They look at you and they're like, what's wrong with you? Haven't you been practicing on your invisible Guitar Hero side?
Exactly.